So the top three political parties in the country, the ANC, the DA, and the EFF, have released their television adverts. You know that right now the matter of television adverts is a matter of controversy after the Democratic Alliance released their television adverts, and the SABC have decided to ban that advert of the Democratic Alliance, because you remember last time President Ramaphosa said that they are going to do something about it. There is no way we're going to allow the DA to play that kind of advert on our television screens. So guys, today I want us to review all three adverts. I'm going to play you the advert of the ANC, I'm going to play you the advert of the DA, and I'm going to play you the advert of the EFF. I want you to tell me on the comment section which advert do you think speaks to you, which advert do you think is being realistic with what is happening on the ground. So the advert that we are going to start with is this advert of the ANC.
Fellow South Africans, it's been 30 years since we took our first steps to freedom. Since then, as South Africans, we've restored our people's dignity together. We've made progress in meeting the basic needs of our people. Millions more people now have access to housing, water, sanitation, energy, communication, education, and an improving social security system. We are putting South Africa to work by investing in our people to ensure that no one is left behind. We are renewing our state institutions and turning the tide on corruption together. We are building safer communities and working towards universal access to healthcare for all. We are building our industries and infrastructure. We are promoting equity and transformation for an inclusive economy. We have achieved our biggest victories together. We are building a better Africa and a better world. So let's do more together. Vote ANC.
Guys, what do you think about this advert, man? What do you think about this advert? Because me personally, I would speak for the people on the ground. I think this advert, especially this advert from the ANC, is going to speak with the people on the ground. This is the reason why I said it when the ANC started their election campaign, that this message that the ANC is running with is a message that is very strong. It is a message that many people in the country can resonate with, because you know right now in the country many people have relied on the ANC government for almost everything they have, from their houses to water to electricity. Many people have actually relied on the ANC for all of these things. So when the ANC is doing this advert, it's basically reminding the people that, guys, this is what we have done for you since 1994. You know that one of the biggest critics that I have for President Ramaphosa is that Ramaphosa will never speak about his past 5 years, because Ramaphosa understands that he has never achieved anything in the past 5 years. So the message that the ANC is going to run with is this message that, guys, we have been working for you since 1994. You can see that you have houses, you can see you have water, you can see you have electricity, you have social grants. If you have children, you have social grants. If you are not working, you have the 350s, and if you get into an accident, you have the road accident fund, and if you have seniors in your home, your grandmothers or your grandfathers, they have pensions, and all of these things were enabled by the ANC. So this advert was, I'm gonna say that it was done cleverly by the ANC to actually remind the people on the ground that, guys, this is what the ANC has been doing for you since 1994. We are not going to focus on our mistakes. We know that we have destroyed the country, but no, let's not focus on that. Let's not focus on our corruption. Let's not focus on the corrupt ministers under the ANC. Let's just focus on what the ANC has been doing for you since 1994. And this message, guys, you must never underestimate this message. This message is resonating with a lot of people on the ground. If you actually speak with the people on the ground, they will tell you that, man, I was actually thinking of voting for another political party, man, but I can actually look at the things that the ANC has done for me. These people have given me an RDP, these people have given me water, have given me electricity. Now that my children are attending schools and I'm not paying anything, I'm unemployed, but these people are giving me something for sitting at home. I'm a young graduate, and these people are giving me something to stay at home. I have children, I have 2 kids, and these people are giving me like 500 for each child. I have seniors, I'm living with my grandmothers, I'm living with my grandfather, and these people are giving my grandmother or my grandfather a couple of thousand rand every month. And this is the reason why I'm saying that this messaging of the ANC is very strong. You must never undermine this messaging of the ANC. You must never undermine this messaging of the ANC, even if you don't like the ANC, even if you hate the ANC. But you must always remember the #1 rule is that you must never undermine your opponent. And this message that the ANC is running with is a message that is very strong. And so this is what I think about this advert. This advert is basically ignoring ANC, everything that the ANC has been doing, everything wrong that the ANC has been doing. They talk about giving people electricity, but they don't talk about load shedding. They talk about giving people water, but they don't talk about giving people dirty water. They talk about people putting people to work, but they say nothing about the thousands or hundreds of thousands of graduates that are sitting at home with their degrees and their diplomas. This is not what they are highlighting, because I believe that everything that the ANC has been doing, they've actually made 5 steps backwards on everything that they have actually tried to do. But on this advert, they are simply going to portray as if things are working well in the country. This is what the ANC has been doing for South Africa. So guys, I honestly think that this is a very strong advert. This is an advert that many people on the ground are going to resonate with, especially when you think about the fact that many people are unemployed, many people are poor in South Africa. So they will think about these things before they even vote for another political party. So the ANC has actually made sure that people think about all of these things before they even think about voting for another political party. So guys, let's play this advert again so that we can go to the advert of the Democratic Alliance.
Fellow South Africans, it's been 30 years since we took our first steps to freedom. Since then, as South Africans, we've restored our people's dignity together. We've made progress in meeting the basic needs of our people. Millions more people now have access to housing, water, sanitation, energy, communication, education, and an improving social security system. We are putting South Africa to work by investing in our people to ensure that no one is left behind. We are renewing our state institutions and turning the tide on corruption together. We are building safer communities and working towards universal access to healthcare for all. We are building our industries and infrastructure. We are promoting equity and transformation for an inclusive economy. We have achieved our biggest victories together. We are building a better Africa and a better world. So let's do more. Together, vote ANC.
Man, can you just imagine if all of those things that the ANC is talking about, can you just imagine if they were true? Can you imagine how prosperous the country would be if all of these things that Ramaphosa is talking about were true? But we know that, man, 80% of that advert is a lie, but that lie is going to work with a lot of people on the ground. So right now we are going to play you the most controversial television advert. This is the advert of the Democratic Alliance. This is an advert that SABC has decided to ban on the television.
In this election, for the first time in 30 years, the ANC will lose its majority, but they will do anything to stay in power. Imagine a coalition between the ANC, the violent EFF, and the Zuma faction. Under this coalition of corruption, life will only get worse. This election is about survival. Unite to rescue South Africa. Vote DA.
Guys, what do you think about this advert, man? I remember I made a video a couple of days ago. Man, I was so frustrated when I made this video because people actually were outraged with the DA showing the South African flag burning. And I actually said that, guys, why are you guys so outraged? Why are you outraged? Because right now, as we speak, the country is burning. You look at everything that is wrong in the country today. You look at the high unemployment rate. You look at the infrastructure. You look at crime. You look at everything that is going terribly wrong in the country today. Is it not fair to say that the country is burning? Of course the country is burning. Everyone who actually has a bit of truth within themselves, they can tell you that the country is burning. This is the reason why we have so many political parties in the country right now. This is the reason why people are not happy with the work that the ANC has been doing right now, because the country is burning. It's almost impossible to point at one thing that South Africa is doing right now. It's almost impossible to look at everything that the country is doing right now. So I don't even think, or I am not in favor of SABC banning this advert from television. I don't think that was the good move from the ANC. The SABC, I honestly think that is censorship, because this is the message of the DA to the people on the counter, that guys, if you want to restore South Africa, then you have to vote for us. You have to vote for us. This is political speech after all. This is political speech after all. And to say that the country is not burning, you would be a liar to say that the country is not burning. The only people that are saying the country is not burning are the people that belong to the African National Congress. But everyone can say that the country is burning. But even some people can say that, okay, maybe this advert was done in poor taste. Maybe I remember someone said that, why didn't the DA ban the flag of the ANC, since the ANC is the one that has destroyed the country? Man, I said, okay, fair enough. I said, fair enough. Maybe the DA should have added the flag of the ANC to the flag of South Africa, burning with the flag of the ANC, because the ANC has actually been destroying the country for the past 30 years. That the ANC has been destroying the country. It's almost impossible to point at one thing that the country is doing correctly. It's almost impossible. I mean, you look at the people that are presiding over us, you look at the ministers, you look at how incompetent these people are. You remember when Ramaphosa became the president, man, he promised the people that, guys, we are going to employ the people, or we are going to deploy the people that are qualified. We are going to make sure that your ministers are the people that you can be proud of. Only for Ramaphosa to take the ministers from Jacob Zuma's administration and take them and put them in his cabinet. Now we still have the same ministers that we had under Jacob Zuma, and now these ministers are now under Cyril Ramaphosa, and this is why the country, nothing is working well. This is why the country, nothing is working well, man. You can see how many people are sitting at home unemployed. See what load shedding is doing, man. Load shedding is costing people's jobs. People have lost their businesses, man. Right now, people are starting their businesses, and 60% of those businesses end up failing because of load shedding, man. The ANC is talking about providing people with water, but they say nothing about providing people with dirty water, man. How many children today in 2024, who would have thought that we would still be talking about the children that are dying in pit toilets? We would still be talking about the children that are being taught under the trees in the Eastern Cape. All of these things are happening under the ANC, and for people to say that the country is not burning, of course these people are lying. So according to me, this advert, it is the advert that has actually won in terms of controversy, because out of all these adverts that have been released, this advert is the only advert that people are talking about. This is the only advert that people are talking about, and I think on that front, the DA has actually won, because they've actually sparked the conversation. People are now debating about whether the advert was done in right, or whether the advert was done in poor taste. But regardless, people are talking about the advert of the DA. So if this was their intention, to make South Africans start the conversation about the advert, or to make South Africans start the conversation about what is happening, that 30 seconds, the DA has actually achieved the DA has actually achieved its goals by making people debate about this advert, because whether you like it or not, people are talking about this advert. Whether you agree when people say that the country is burning, or whether you don't agree, whether you agree that the advert was done rightfully, or whether you disagree and say that the advert was done in protest, but at the end of the day, you are talking about this advert. So I think it was very brilliant on the side of the DA in terms of making people have conversations about what is happening in the country. So guys, I don't know, what are your thoughts on the DA advert? Let's play this advert again before we go on the advert of the Economic Freedom Fighters.
In this election, for the first time in 30 years, the ANC will lose its majority, but they will do anything to stay in power. Imagine a coalition between the ANC, the violent EFF, and the Zuma faction. Under this coalition of corruption, life will only get worse. This election is about survival. Unite to rescue South Africa. Vote DA.
Okay, I think we are done with the DA. Let's go to the advert of the economic freedom fighters. The Vuka Votela EFF. This has been their hashtag recently. The Vuka Votela EFF. Let's see what the EFF has for us.
Corrupt activities,
power cuts,
money laundering, 51 rand tender.
Cyril Ramaphosa may have violated the constitution.
How long are we going to complain about the same things?
Joblessness figures hit a record high.
The recent data on unemployment is disappointing.
Too long have we tolerated corruption in jobs and jobs for favors. Vuka, vela, vota. How long are we going to live like this? Existing without the land? Vuka, vela, vota. Why have we normalized complaining about the dark? In the dark. Vuka, vela, vota.
The affected students remain in the hallways and on the grounds of the
They promised us free education in 1994. 30 years later, all they've delivered is a corrupt NSFAS and a broken education system. On May 29th, Election Day, vote EFF. Choose jobs, choose land, fight against load shedding. Vuka, vela, vota.
You must be counted, you must be part of history, you must make sure that you are one of the people who are going to deliver economic freedom in our lifetime.
Vote EFF.
So guys, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on this advert of the EFF? I must say that it is a pretty strong advert, because they are actually showing South Africans that, guys, this is what we are going through. This is exactly what we are going through. Like, they are giving us education system, but like this education system and has been broken down. You can see they promised us a free education, but they've given us Bladen Zimande and his friends and the corrupt NSFAS. And today, as we speak, the students do not have accommodations. The students have never received their allowances. So basically, what the EFF is saying, they're basically saying that the country is burning. They are basically saying the country is burning. They are saying the same thing that the DA is saying, but they are just putting it into more perspective, because the DA, their advert was just short and straight to the point, because they only showed the flag and the verse over that was playing. But in terms of everything that is going on in the country right now, this is what, again, the EFF is saying. The EFF is saying that the country is burning. The country is burning. But I don't think they have done enough in terms of actually, in terms of call to action, because it only happened on the last part and fast and voting the EFF. But I feel like they could have done more, especially for the advert that have went on for 1 minute and 30 seconds. I think that the call to action could have done maybe 2 or 3 times before like they've done it in the end, because if you can watch this advert without actually watching it until the end, you would not even think that this is the advert of the EFF, and it is such a long advert. This is why I think that the call to action could have made maybe like 2 or 3 times. But I honestly think that it is a very strong advert, because I do not disagree with everything they are saying on this advert. I agree with everything that they are saying on this advert, man. You see the corruption, you can see what the incompetent presidency, you see what the ANC has been doing in the country. So I think they have tried their best to put everything into the pictures that, guys, this is the image of the country right now. This is the image of the country right now, and the country is dying. And you can see the advert is pretty dark. The advert is pretty dark, and I think, again, that says a lot to say that, man, the country is very dark right now. Things are not working well, man. We don't have electricity. People are losing their jobs and all sorts of things. And for the economic freedom fighters, for the party that actually prides itself with the land expropriation without compensation, I actually thought that they would actually put that, you know, that infrastructure, no, not infrastructure, that agriculture feel into the advert, because they actually they love agriculture, they love land. But I feel like they've only mentioned land like maybe a bit when they showed that woman who is crying because her shack is burning. But I don't think that in terms of the land they've actually put in that much pressure. But I think, again, it has to do with the fact that if you are familiar with Julius Malema, Julius Malema recently has been toning down his calls, especially when it comes to the land expropriation without compensation, has been toned, like it has really toned down, unlike 2 or 3 years earlier. Like Julius Malema was very strong: land expropriation without compensation. We are going to expropriate your land. We are going to take everything. We are even going to take your dog. But right now, Julius Malema is trying to be clever about talking about this thing of land expropriation without compensation, because he's not only facing an opposition from the so-called white parties, even the parties like the IFP, the parties like the ANC, they do not agree with the method of Julius Malema when they are talking about land expropriation without compensation. So I thought this is one of the issues that they think, okay, maybe guys, we need to do it lightly, but if these people actually give us a chance to govern the country again, then we are going to expropriate that land. We are going to expropriate that land, but we cannot talk much about it. We cannot talk much about it, because when we talk much about it and when we are strong on the issue of land expropriation without compensation, people are talking about the properties and thinking that, you know, these people are going to expropriate our properties. You know that many of the EFF leaders that have been invited to certain podcasts, they've actually been questioned that, guys, what about the private property? How is the EFF going to deal with the private property? And when you guys say that the land will belong to the state, how is that going to be different from what the ANC is doing right now? Because we know that the ANC has a vast land, but this land is not being distributed to the people. So if the EFF is going to come out and say that we are advocating for the land to belong to the state so that the state can distribute this land, how are you guys different from the ANC? So I think it was very clever of the EFF to only say that, guys, let's not push so hard when it comes to this land expropriation without compensation, man. We're just gonna wait for these people to give us a chance to govern the country, and if these people give us a chance, I'm telling you, we are going to expropriate that land without compensation. So guys, what do you think about this EFF advert? Let me play it one more time.
Corrupt activities,
power cuts,
money laundering, 51 rand tender.
Cyril Ramaphosa may have violated the constitution.
How long are we going to complain about the same things?
Joblessness figures hit a record high.
The recent data on unemployment is disappointing.
Too long have we tolerated corruption in jobs and jobs for favors. Voga, vela, voda. How long are we going to live like this? Existing without the land? Voga, vela, voda. Why have we normalized complaining about the dark? In the dark. Voga, vela, voda.
The affected students remain in the hallways and on the grounds of the...
They promised us free education in 1994. 30 years later, all they've delivered is a corrupt NSFAS and a broken education system. On May 29th, Election Day, vote EFF. Choose jobs, choose land, fight against load shedding. Voga, vela, voda.
You must be counted, you must be part of history, you must make sure that you are one of the people who are going to deliver economic freedom in our lifetime.
Vote EFF.
So personally, guys, I honestly think that all of the adverts are strong, because I'm trying to position myself as a constituent of these three political parties. If I'm a member of the ANC, I am definitely happy about the advert of the ANC. I'm happy about the ANC reminding the people of what they have done since 1994. I'm happy about it if I'm a member of the ANC. If I'm a member of the DA, I am happy about the DA by being blunt and by being straight with the people of this country. That guy said the country is burning, and the only time you can restore this country is by voting for us. So if I'm on the side of the DA, I am happy about the messaging of the DA. And again, if I'm on the side of the EFF, I am happy about this advert. This advert is very strong. It's speaking with the fighters. It's speaking with everything that the EFF is speaking about. So guys, I want you to make your own decision. Which advert do you think that it is strong? Which advert do you think that it speaks to you? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye bye.